Hi, my name is Storm, and I'd like to welcome you to another Natural Paradigms interview, naturalparadigms.tv interview. Today we have Michael Telefaro, my brother, who has a really amazing story. You heard a little bit of his story in Breakthrough. If you saw the raw documentary film Breakthrough, I talked a little bit about my family and like the fact that our family is really prone to cancer. Doctors and the current medical profession would have you believe that cancer is hereditary. I don't think that cancer is hereditary. I think what is hereditary is our universal bad diet, and that if we clear up our diet, that we will find that cancer is not a natural condition of growing old. Michael, you want to tell us a little bit about your story? I know bits and pieces of it, but I'm just going to go ahead and let you talk, and we'll focus on you. How long did you have cancer? Like the full length of time.
Well, that's hard to say. I had a lump in my scrotum sac for the better part of a decade that I just never got checked out. I was riding 300 to 500 miles a week. I was racing all over the world and winning, so I didn't see the need at the time for something that was causing me no grief, no pain. I had no symptoms at all. So I was diagnosed formally in 2001, and they surgically removed the lump and sent me on my way. And I did have a recurrence in 2002, I believe it was. About every 18 months I had a recurrence. And I was out riding, and I was the fastest man in Texas 2 months before my other diagnosis. I fell off my bike and broke my back, and they found a tumor growing in my spine, so I had to undergo chemotherapy and radiation to that part of the spine. And it came back again 18 months after that, in between my lungs and behind my heart. So I've been through the ringer on this, and I do believe that diet is a large part of keeping the cancer at bay, making conscious choices. We're inundated with inappropriate food on the radio, on the television, just driving down the road, you see all types of advertisement for food that's counterproductive to just a healthy state of being. So finding a food source, finding the recipes is key and critical to maintaining the raw food diet.
Now, when you were first diagnosed with the cancer, what was your diet like? What were you eating?
My diet was almost a normal person's diet. I was a vegetarian for about 14 years, and when I started racing in Europe, I got off of that diet because I had a hard time finding fruits and vegetables to eat. So I went back to what I call a sludge tolerance diet. I had to be able to eat anything and then ride 5 hours the next day. So my diet was pretty much anything that didn't eat me first to run.
Okay, give us a little detail about the food groups, because I think this is real important. So we're going to put a little bit of emphasis on it. Were you eating fried foods? Were you eating meat? Were you eating pastries? French fries? Tell me
Not so
what
much with the French fries, but I did eat meat. I would eat fried food if that was all that was available. It literally was a sludge tolerance diet. I was able to eat just about anything. Now, if I ate too much fried food, too much processed food, I would notice a significant drop in performance. So I tried to stay on the straight and narrow as far as, more vegetables, but I wasn't as obsessed about them being raw. I didn't like them cooked too much, but yeah, I pretty much had a standard American diet for the most part.
Okay, so now there's some things that are really amazing about you. One is that I think Dad came to Texas, and he spent some time with you, and he really wanted you to become, get on the raw diet. Is that right? You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, he came and he said, if you keep this up, or if you don't make a change, it's going to affect you poorly in the future. The chances or the limiting factor as far as the cancer returning is probably your diet, because you're doing everything else right. I'm probably about as physically fit as you can be at my age. At 43 years old, I can still run 6-minute miles. I can ride at 35, 40 miles an hour. I can race with just about anyone. So I can't do too much more than that. So the diet is the final link. And the harder you run your body, I think the harder the toxins impact you. So being an athlete or being physically fit is not always necessarily going to be, your escape plan. Sometimes that will cause your body to demand or require an even cleaner fuel than a sedentary person.
And what was the effect of him having this talk with you after he left? Did you incorporate a certain level of raw food and veganism into your diet?
Yes, I dropped meat altogether, and I had done this before, but not with quite the same amount of ambition. I know, and have known for quite some time, that diet is a critical link, and even just athletic performance. Never mind, okay, you're going to die if you don't. I mean, we're all going to die eventually. I'm not afraid of death. I don't run from death. But yeah, if I can make conscious choices to keep me out of that doctor's office, I don't like what that man does to me.
Okay.
So, yeah, next person that comes to me with something sharp, I want to break their arm. That's the Detroit rule. You come at me with something sharp, I'll break your arm. So I don't want to have to be in that situation again.
So so you made this change, and what was the effect of your dietary change on the cancer, the active cancer that you had? What happened?
Well, I've made the change, and I haven't gone back to the doctor. I don't think I'm going to need to deal with that again at that level. But my performance, I haven't dropped any weight. Usually when people think, raw vegetarian diet, they figure, okay, you're going to drop a bunch of weight, you're going to look like a refugee.
Wow.
I'm more like a freight train than I was, and I don't require
So you put on muscle mass when you drop the meat, which is supposed to be the muscle mass builder in our culture.
I am building new muscle that usually, I'm kind of a mad scientist with the cycling and the skating. Usually if I change regimes, I will weigh myself, I will measure all my body parts, at the muscle where the muscles are, to see if there's a change in body structure. And like I see new muscle growing. Some of my clothes don't fit right anymore because I'm getting, larger, more powerful muscles. And at this age, that's something that's usually unheard of. Usually you lose 5% of your muscle mass, I think, every 10 years as you grow older past 45. And I refuse to accept a lot of the things that people just hold as, okay, well, this is just the way it is. You can't get faster as you get older. Yeah, I can. Watch me.
So when I went and got you from the airport and we were coming back, did you tell me that you had actually died on the table, that your heart had stopped?
Yeah. They over-medicated me. The last time that I went through chemotherapy, it was a mess. I mean, I had complications, I had fever, I had blood clots. They over-medicated me on pain medication, sleeping medication, and my heart stopped. Everything went black. I never have got a straight answer how long I was gone. They just say, oh, well, we brought you back. And they had the monitors on me, and they pretty much kept me in bed. But the first time that I went through it, I actually had my bicycle in the hospital, and I rode 200 miles during the first week of chemo on my stationary bike. So the stuff gets worse as, if you have recurrences, they use the next most powerful brand of medicine on you. So it gets worse as you get further along.
So now that you have changed your diet, are you following their regime of medication?
I'm medication free, much to their chagrin. They had an entire, medical, just this list of drugs that I was supposed to take. And I told them, I said I won't do it. Half of the stuff is for side effects of the stuff that you're giving me. So I don't see my quality of life getting better on this. Plus my performance went in the toilet while I was on that stuff. And that's one of the things that I always want to be. I always want to be agile. I always want to be fast. I want to be able to just take off running as fast as I can. I don't want to be broken down, flames coming out of the hood with the muffler dragging. So I refuse to go out like that. So.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the trip you did with Lance Armstrong. Where did you guys start? What was it all about? Where did you end up? Tell me a little bit about that.
We rode from coast to coast after my second recurrence. This is the one where I broke my back. And we rode from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. in 8 days. There were 27 of us. I think half of us were cancer survivors. Other people were caregivers, people associated with the cancer experience. And Lance Armstrong, Bristol Myers Squibb, and a couple of other companies put this on, and they provided everything. We didn't have to lift a finger. We had sleeper buses, we had masseuses, we had cooks, we had mechanics. All we had to do was ride 120 miles a day as fast as we could. They wanted a minimum average of 20 miles an hour on the day. And I adopted a couple of people that were older and said, it's my job to keep them on the road, because if you were falling behind, they would take you off the road and put you in the van. So I pushed these people up hills, I broke wind for them, everything I could do to make their tour of hope across the U.S. as memorable as possible. But we rode from LA to DC. We had speaking engagements along the way. Everyone was told to pick a message. My message was for people feeling that they weren't at risk to say that you don't have to feel sick to be sick. And
Okay.
the year that I was diagnosed, I was the fastest man in Texas. 2 months later, I'm on my back counting hospital ceiling tiles.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
you couldn't tell me I was sick. I mean, I just beat everybody. I mean, there was nobody faster than me. I won by 2 points.
Okay.
You know, it took a sixth place sprint to get the last couple points I needed, 40 miles an hour, you know, unstoppable. And then 2 months later, I'm fighting for my life. So it's sneaky, and it's hard to identify the risk. You know, I teach my daughter, like with any situation, you realize the situation, you make a decision, and you execute. That's not always going to be enough to save your butt, but if you're not doing that, then you're pretty much stepping
Wow.
off the cliff. So
Wow.
you know, you realize that your diet is the weak link or the weak factor of your equation. You make a decision, and then you execute to the best of your ability. It's not always going to save your skin. Something might get you, but you do everything that you can.
I kind of like your approach to raw food. You don't fix any recipes. You just go to the store, you buy some broccoli, and you eat it. I think Dad played an essential role in bringing knowledge and awareness and inspiration to you to get you on the diet.
Yeah, it was just that extra boulder to say, all right, just that pebble on the boulder to say, all right, I'm rolling this way.
Yeah.
You know, and you
Okay.
know, for him to be as pro-life as he is at his age, I mean, he's getting the most out of every day that he can. You know,
Well,
time is a fabric of life. You can't buy more. So
He comes and stays with us. He goes raw for 2 weeks at a time, and he raves about it.
Yeah.
You know, so he's pretty amazing. First time he went raw, he was 75, and he was walking up and down hills. Man, we couldn't keep up with him.
yeah,
So I got some questions for you. You seem that you've had a positive experience in like changing your diet in relation to your health. So what do you think's in store for the future for you? You know, like what dietary direction are you going to move in?
I'm going to move in that direction as far as I can.
What
I mean,
direction?
Towards the raw food diet, the all raw food diet.